सो हेलो गाइस, वेलकम टू द माय चैनल। आप लोग ये स्टोरी देख रहे हो तो प्लीज़ यार कमेंट में बता देना, क्योंकि मुझे नेक्स्ट एपिसोड के लिए मुझे एक हिंट मिल जाएगा कि हाँ, बहुत लोग हैं जो ये स्टोरी सुन रहे हैं, तो मैं नेक्स्ट एपिसोड अपलोड कर सकूँगी। तो आई होप गाइस आप समझ सकते हो कि मैं क्या कहना चाहती हूँ। तो गाइस, मैं आप लोगों का टाइम वेस्ट ना करते हुए मैं अपनी स्टोरी को स्टार्ट करती हूँ।
Madhu felt the tickle all over her body. Slowly, Bree moved her hands in front to open her bathing room. But suddenly, Madhu held her hand tightly. Looking down, nodding her head in shyness, Madhu whispered, "No, please." Bree understood her. Smiling, she took a step back and said, "You get dressed fast. We will have breakfast and go out for the city tour." Madhu couldn't look at Bree and ran into the bathroom, holding her clothes and accessories. When Madhu came out, Bree was stunned looking her graceful beauty. She wore formal clothes of a cream color sweatshirt, blue denim, and a grey blue long coat. "You are looking gorgeous. And I'm sorry, by the way." Bree apologized for her sudden act by holding her ears and making a cute face. Madhu blushed and came to her. Nodding, she took Bree's hands off from her ears. She said, "No, don't be. Actually, I am sorry. I. No need to explain anything. I understand," Bree said, looking at her embarrassment. Madhu gazed at her. She saw her caring and understanding partner before her. She smiled and hugged her. "Come on, we need to hurry up. Let's have breakfast." Bree hurried, looking at the time, and they both had breakfast. Madhu thought Bree must have felt I'm so stubborn as I stopped her suddenly. While going out of the room, suddenly Madhu held her hand and turned her around and kissed her instantly. Bree got amazed and she kissed her back by leaning on the wall behind her, which lasted for long. "Wow, why?" Bree asked when they got separated. Madhu looked into her eyes and said, "Because I love you." Bree smirked and gave her a peck kiss and whispered, "I know, and I love you too." Cherished with romance and kisses, they walked out of the room holding hands happily. Madhu was surprised to see a helicopter when their car stopped near the helipad. Madhu was scared in the helicopter. Bree noticed that and held her hand throughout the ride. To ease her, Bree whispered in her ears, "I am always with you." Madhu gazed at her and blushed. They enjoyed the Grand Canyon from the aerial view and clicked pictures. Later, they had lunch at the Venetian Hotel and then went on a gondola ride. Madhu was still embarrassed for stopping Bree in the morning. She held the hand of Bree in the boat and said, "Bree, you know something? I have come from a very, very orthodox family, and from childhood, we were taught that..." "Forget it." Madhu paused. "Taught what?" Bree asked curiously. "No, you will think I am silly and orthodox," Madhu said, nodding. "Come on, tell me anything. I have always respected your values." "I promise I will not think anything like that," Bree said, keeping her hand on Madhu's hand. "No, it is centuries-old culture and really silly compared to this era and generation, especially here," Madhu avoided. "Madhu, what were you taught since childhood?" Bree insisted. "We were taught that we should," holding her forehead in shyness, "take off our clothes only in front of our life partner. Only our life partner has the right to see us like, you know," Madhu mumbled. Her face was red in shyness that she couldn't even say the word naked. Bree blushed hearing her out and thought how honest and innocent her love is. She felt proud to be in love with such a pure soul. She thought of something and took a long breath. In the middle of that gondola ride in that man-made river, Bree went on her knees and asked, "Madhu, I am madly, deeply and crazily in love with you, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I can't wait to grow old with you. I am sorry that you are not my first, but I promise that from now on, you are my only and you will be my last. You are my soulmate. I will be only yours and wish you to be only mine. Madhu Naidu, will you marry me? Bree asked with tears filled in her eyes and honesty in her words. People sitting around in the restaurants by the sides of the river and people riding gondola in other boats observed Bree and started clapping for the cute couple. Madhu blushed, holding her face with both her hands. Tears filled in her eyes. Some people started shouting, "Say yes, say yes." Both the couple looked around and smiled with their eyes. Madhu held the hands of Bree and blushed. By nodding her head, she said, "Yes. With no single doubt, I want to be yours forever, soulmate." Bree jumped in happiness. The photographer clicked amazing shots of their proposal. After a dreamy proposal on a gondola, when the lovebirds got down from the ride, the photographer gave all the photos to Bree for free. They both cherished happy moments watching those pictures. Bree wondered how come that photographer came all of a sudden and took their pictures for free in that unknown city. But she was very much in love with Madhu that she ignored him. Bree decided something and took Madhu to a nice jewelry shop and said, "So, Miss Goldsmith, choose any ring of your wish. I want to make my proposal formal and want to marry you right now." She winked, saying that. Madhu got surprised again. By widening her eyes, she asked, "You were kidding, right?" "I am serious. I will marry you right now," Bree said confidently. "No way. How?" Madhu was amazed. "You are in Vegas, honey. Here you can marry anybody anytime," Bree said. "But Bree, how is this possible? I mean, no families and no permission from family. Without their consent?" Madhu said in a confusion after thinking for a while. "Madhu, do you love me?" Bree asked. "More than anybody in my life. As I said the other day, when I see my future, I see you," she replied confidently. "Do you trust me?" Bree asked one more question. "Of course, yes. More than myself," Madhu said, looking into her eyes. Smiling, Bree held her hands. "But Bree, marriage isn't child's play. It requires family acceptance and blessings. Without their consent, how could we get married?" Madhu expressed her emotional state. "I know it isn't child's play, and we are adults. And if you tell your family that you want to marry a girl, would you think they will accept it?" "Forget accepting. As far as I know your family, they will get you married to some other man of their wish whom you don't love. And will you ever be happy in that marriage? It will ruin 3 lives. You, him and me. Because I will never think of marrying any other person other than you in my life." Bree supposed the possible future. "I know, but I have come here to study. They trusted me and sent me here. If I get married like this, their hearts will be broken. And what about your family? What would your mother feel if we get married without her consent?" Madhu asked. "I agree you came here to study, and you are not cheating on that. You are doing well with your studies. But in the meantime, you fell in love, and it was not in the condition that they set for you." "Just kidding. I respect your love for your family. You are lucky that you have a loving family. That is why you too care for them. But my case is different. All my life I saw my mother only cared for her business. Anyhow, I am gonna come out to her when we go back. I don't think she would have any problem. But do you think your family would accept your love for a girl?" Bree expressed the truth. "Forget girl. If I had fallen in love with any boy also, they would never have accepted it." Madhu smirked, agreeing with Bree's logic. "Madhu, as I said, I respect your family and your love for them. But we are adults and have the independence to decide our life and future and follow our hearts. We will face whatever comes into our life together. I will always be there for you. So, I want to marry you right now. And trust me, I am not doing all this to have a physical relationship with you. No, you mean way beyond than that for me. I will never touch you without your wish, and I will wait for you all my life. I just want to be yours and want to make you mine legally and officially for life and forever. Holding her cheeks. I love you, Madhu. The way I'm happy with you, I was never this happy. And I will always keep you happy. I will take care of you and love you more than anything or anyone else in this world. My heart wished to get married to you right now. I want you to listen to your heart. And still, if your heart doesn't accept this marriage, then I will not force you. Let us go back and enjoy the trip, Bree said. Tears filled in her eyes and honesty and truth in her every word. Madhu heard her every word. Tears filled in her eyes. She was touched. Her heart melted and her love for Bree increased million times every second she spent with her. Bree was everything that Madhu could ask in her life partner. And moreover, she was madly in love with her. Yet, she wasn't sure about marriage. India is a country where thinking about same-sex love is considered as a taboo. And Bree proposed her for marriage right here, right now. How her family would react if she gets married? All these thoughts were haunting Madhu's mind, sitting in that jewelry shop, sitting before and holding hand of her love, Bree. Bree understood Madhu's confusion. She knew her values. She thought she will gift her a ring and not force her for the marriage. After thinking for a while, Madhu took a long breath. She observed Bree, understood her confusions. She held her hand and blushed. Looking at the salesman, who was watching them with a smile, Madhu confidently said, "Show me B&M embossed gold rings in 22 carats." Bree amazed by hearing her. Madhu looked at Bree with a smile and tears filled in her eyes. Diamonds and platinum might be expensive, but my family always says there is nothing more precious than gold, because it gets its real form after getting heated in the fire. And our love will also shine like real gold, no matter how many tests it has to pass. When we are together, nothing will harm us. Bree, I cannot imagine anybody other than you as my love and life partner. I love you and I want to be yours forever. Taking a long breath, I am ready to marry you now, she said, love filled in every word. Brianna beamed with the same honesty. They chose the rings for each other and Brianna took her to the church and they promised each other their vows in front of the father and people in the church. Bree held Madhu's hands in her hands and said, I, Brianna Philip Miller, fell in love with the only person in my life, that is you, Madhu Naidu, and I take you to be my wife and my life, for better, for worse, for rich, for poor. I promise to be with you. I promise to keep the patience with you that love demands and share everything with you. I promise to love and care for you forever, give you all the happiness and cherish every moment with you till death do us apart. In the presence of God and everyone here, I take this vow and take you, Madhu, as my wife. Her eyes were filled with tears. Madhu's eyes were also filled with tears, hearing her vows. Holding her hands tightly, Madhu said her vows. I, Madhu Shiva Naidu, take you, Brianna Miller, to be my wife today in front of all these people and presence of God and all the good powers around us. I promise you all the vows that we take in marriage. I pray the God to give us nourishment, strength, health, prosperity, and togetherness. I will be with you in every thick and thin of life. I will take care of you and our family. I will love you and will be with you in all the good and bad of life. I will cherish our each moment of life till death do us apart, and wish you to be mine, and I will be yours in all our next lives. Hearing their vows, all the people got emotional and clapped for the new couple. Father smiled and asked them to exchange the rings and said, I pronounce you both wife and wife. Now you may kiss each other. Madhu felt shy to kiss Bree in front of all the people. Bree blushed and gave her the peck on her cheek. Thus, they both got married by exchanging their rings and completing paperwork of their wedding in the church. They got lots of blessings from the people around. The church arranged a photographer who clicked pictures of their wedding. Brianna and Madhu together sponsored dinner for all the people present in the church at that time. Madhu wished to go to any Hindu temple around, and Brianna took her to a Hindu temple in the night. Luckily, a Pandit was present in the temple in the night, who gave them varmalas to exchange after hearing their story. Madhu wished for a long, happy married life with Brianna in that temple. Pandit told them that they did good by getting married that day, as it was an auspicious day to get married. Although he was an Indian Pandit, but he didn't believe all the social discriminations on LGBTQ and poured blessings to the newlyweds and performed the puja in their name. Madhu and Bree made a good amount of charity in that temple. While in the car, driving back to the hotel, they both recalled their entire life. How Madhu spent her life studying and getting overprotected by her family. And one day, she came to Boston and met Brianna. How she became friends with her. All the moments of 6 months of togetherness. Brianna remembered how she spent all her childhood seeking the love of her parents. Although her father loved Bree, he was never affectionate. All she had was Betty, who took care of her as a duty. In her teenage years, her friends were in relationships and had no time for her. So she worked as a waitress and in the cash counters of her restaurants for years. Her friends and boyfriends never cared for her feelings and always misused her. She spent a couple of years only in the addiction of alcohol. 6 months ago, that fine day, she ran into Madhu, who unconditionally made a friendship with her and loved her. After recalling their lives, they both thought 4 days back they were not even sure about their relationship status, and in those days, they accepted their love, went crazy for each other in love, and in that single day, they proposed, engaged, and got married. They thought no one ever in the history of love would have acted this fast. When all the memories flashed one by one in their minds, they looked at each other. After a pause, they both laughed out louder for all that happened so fast that day. Night at 10, they both drove back to the hotel. While coming into the room, Madhu was nervous. Bree observed that and held her hand to soothe her. Madhu, you slept cuddling me last night, and I am happy with that, I promise. I will maintain my patience. Holding her nose. So, wifey, don't worry, I am not gonna do anything. Saying, she winked. Madhu was still nervous and shyly she looked down. Bree opened the door, holding her hand with a smile. They both walked in, and immediately after looking inside, they were surprised. Their suite was all designed as a wedding suite. There were flowers, heart-shaped balloons, and aromatic candles everywhere in the room. The path from the door to bed was decorated with flowers, candles by the sides of the bed lit and spread a mild aroma in every corner of the room. Bed was decorated with roses in heart shape. They both got mesmerized looking at the beautifully decorated wedding suite. Bree loved the room decoration, but on the contrary, she got worried. She thought, what the fuck? Madhu would be thinking I did all this. I promised her that I will not do any such things. Who created all these romantic ideas around to make me the culprit of breaking my promise? She looked at Madhu, gulping her saliva, with pauses and biting her lips. I think this isn't a room, cause trust me, I didn't plan all this and never told them to do all this. I swear. I will call the reception and check. Saying, she started walking towards the phone. Madhu blushed and muttered, I did. Bree turned around blinking her eyes. She uttered, what? In a shocking tone. Madhu blushed again, scratching the floor with her foot and covered in the long stylish shoes. Bree got surprised and nodded her head to make sure what she heard was true. She came close to her and asked, come again? No, don't be. Actually, I am sorry. I. No need to explain anything. I understand, Bree said, looking at her embarrassment. Madhu gazed at her. She saw her caring and understanding partner before her. She smiled and hugged her. Come on, we need to hurry up. Let's have breakfast. Bree hurried, looking at the time, and they both had breakfast. Madhu thought Bree must have felt I'm so stubborn as I stopped her suddenly. While going out of the room, suddenly Madhu held her hand and turned her around and kissed her instantly. Bree got amazed and she kissed her back by leaning on the wall behind her, which lasted for long. Wow! Why? Bree asked when they got separated. Madhu looked into her eyes and said, Because I love you. Bree smirked and gave